Hey guys, I want to welcome you to Liftoff.
11, 10.
Today, you get to hear about Brianna. Have you ever been in a situation where you wished you could actually launch a product without ever touching the product? Brianna's going to tell you how she does this as a mom staying at home, generating cash for her family from her computer. I think you guys are going to love this.
Hey everybody, this is Seth, Keeping It Real. I am so excited today because I have a special guest on the Just One Dime channel. Her name is Brianna Greene, and she has an awesome story to share with you. But before we get started, guys, stay to the end of this because I have a special bonus for you guys I want you to take advantage of. In fact, I'm going to include a link below where Brianna is going to offer something super cool for all of you guys watching this that I think you guys are going to love. Now, the reason I asked Brianna to be here with me today is I had a really cool opportunity that I can't say much about it, but I was able to meet Brianna in a situation where we were able to have an influence on Amazon. And that is why I respect her. One of the reasons I respect her so much. I mean, talk about an opportunity to be able to have an influence on the direction of Amazon in its future. She was one of the people in that room, which is massive, you guys. So I just want to say, Brianna, thank you so much for being on this channel. I'm honored to have you here, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Seth. I'm super excited to be here. Certainly that was an amazing opportunity that we had with Amazon, and an even more amazing opportunity to meet others that I feel are like-minded, and especially now to meet with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really cool about your story, Brianna, is I think there's a lot of women out there who feel like they can't do it, or Amazon is the man's world. And it's silly because I know this isn't the case, because my wife Kimberly can tell you by example, nope, it's not the case. You've lived this, you're doing it. And today, guys, we're going to talk about something I think you guys are going to love. We're going to focus on how do I generate cash without touching a single product. Which is really, I know that seems like ridiculous, but guys, this is reality. You can do this. And if you have any doubts about that, or you think this is some kind of stupid multi-level marketing scam or something, remove that from your brain. What we're about to tell you is what Brianna is living and doing every day. But first, Brianna, could you just start with your story? Like, how did you get to this place? I love your background, by the way. Can you talk about that transition?
Yeah. So I'm at a point in my life where my sort of eclectic random background all has kind of come to this point where it makes sense.
I'm going to use that word galactic from now on. That's really good. Galactic. How do you get bigger than that?
So, I mean, my history is in figure skating. I was a competitive figure skater. So I had kind of a strange upbringing in that I was traveling a lot. You know, I was always a person that was a go-getter and a little hustler from the time I was a young kid. And so I literally at 4 years old was entrepreneurial. And everything I did was a business opportunity for me. That turned into actual cash when I was a teenager in the mid-90s, and I started to sell on eBay. I started working very early because I was raised in a family of entrepreneurs, and I wanted more cash and more money. And like, who's going to hire a 14 or 15-year-old?
Right.
And so that kind of started my journey. Fast forward 20 years, you know, I became a teacher and assistant principal. So I had 2 master's degrees, a very secure job. I did that for 8 years. I really loved teaching, but I was feeling suffocated by just too many things that I felt like I didn't have control over. Besides the fact that the public school system was just not what it used to be. And so I decided to take a year's leave of absence, because at that point in time in 2010, my eBay store was generating $10,000 a month in sales. It was just me. I was doing it part-time. And I was like, you know what? I'm making more money than I am as an assistant principal.
Right.
And it was like, man, you know, I have all these degrees. And, you know, come to find out, I was making money doing something that is actually attainable by anyone. Yeah. That led to Amazon. You know, I had my daughter, and so I wasn't able to get out as much to find things for eBay. So I turned to Amazon FBA. I think it was 2016, just part-time. Her and my husband was working outside the home. I did over $500,000 in sales by myself. And so that then led to an evolution in my lifestyle. And I wanted to be a bit of a digital nomad. And so I needed to have an empire where I didn't have to touch anything, where I didn't have to have physical products. And that has led me to where I am.
I love it. We got galactic and we have empire. It is building. I like this. So this is really cool. So just a couple questions. This is a little bit random, but I have to ask you this, Brianna. Do you believe as an assistant principal and a former teacher, and I know how much impact a teacher can have on someone's life. I know this with 4 kids and the impact that the teachers had on my kids' lives, and some didn't have on my kids' lives that they should have.
Yeah.
Has the education system failed us? I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And so here's what's interesting, okay? Several points. Number one is I have 2 master's degrees, and what I do to earn a living requires none of that. You don't even have to be a high school graduate, to be honest. You can, be completely self-educated, make this happen, be a productive member of society, and make a great income. I look at my husband. He excelled in vocational trades. He's an amazing artist. He is great at auto body. There was a bit of training back in the 90s for that. A lot of that is missing. And I also think that I'm an example of that generation of the the 80s babies that started with no technology, and now we're all about technology. And so we appreciate, both sides of the coin.
When you talk about it having failed us, I think this is so interesting, guys, because she's 2 master's degrees. So first of all, respect for that. That takes self-discipline to do that. But that is not making her any money today. And as a teacher, number one, you guys all know teachers don't make a lot of money and probably underpaid. Number 2, there's a cap on your income. So what Brianna's about to share with you guys is a system that allows you to not have a cap on your income. Now, again, for those of you guys who are doubting, you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. Let me tell you, you have to remove that from your mind, because that thought used to plague me, Brianna, and it held me back, and it kept me looking for security in a corporation. And I'm not saying it's wrong to work for Apple or Amazon or any big company out there. There's great opportunities. Heck, I have my own staff. They work on my team. So I get that. There's value in that. But if you have to have that kind of security, go for it. But if you're looking for something bigger, something more adventurous, something that's more risky, but also can make you a lot richer and then give you margin to be able to hang out. I mean, you have a daughter, you have your own child, you're able to hang out with her and work from home, like literally from your computer. Guys, I'm asking Brianna to show you guys how to do that. So talk a little bit about how, like if I'm brand new, Brianna, and I want to start making money without touching a single product. How do I do this? And one more thing really quick, guys. This is different than anything you've ever heard on this channel. So here we go.
So I want to elaborate too on what you mentioned about like job security and feeling more stable in a position. One thing I think is that it's impressed upon us that a 40-year career in something, that we're trying to attain that, but like realistically that doesn't exist a whole lot anymore. I mean, I don't need to get into politics, but there are people right now that are getting paycheck in a very stable job, right? There's teacher cuts all the time. I was a teacher for 8 years. Doesn't mean I'm going to be there if there's some devastating cuts and they need to let people go. Right. So my theory is this: I never have all my eggs in one basket. And so through my journey in e-com, I haven't left behind the physical product stuff. It's an element. But this print-on-demand stuff that I'm going to talk about is mind-blowing because of the accessibility of the tools to everyday people that don't have to have any experience of it in it. Essentially, think about it like this. If you went to events or concerts back in the day, there was usually someone there making really cool customized t-shirts with a t-shirt press, right? And they would put your name on it. Well, now what we have are websites that completely handle all of that for you. They handle the production of it. They handle the shipping. Some of them even handle customer service. And so what you do is you build a brand or or a line of print-on-demand products, and everybody thinks about t-shirts, by creating designs, uploading the designs on products that you think are cool with your designs, and then hands off. And so there's a lot of ways you could do this. You can put it on websites like Merch by Amazon, where there's insane organic traffic. You could build your own Shopify store and drive traffic to it. But the point is, you can amass a side hustle, just it's scalable. So if you want to take an extra trip every month and you just need a couple extra $1,000 that you want to sock away, cool. If you want to leave your job, you want to completely scale this thing and even add in physical products, eventually you can do that. Yeah. So it's not linear, and it's an amazing way to live like what I'm able to do, a digital nomad lifestyle, where you don't have to store it or touch anything.
You know, when people come out of the brick and mortar entrepreneurship, when they come out of, like, for example, I have multiple friends who own restaurants here in Austin, people who own coffee shops. And there's this one guy at Cup of Austin, amazing guy, he's been an entrepreneur all his life. He's explained to me the process, the step-by-step process of what it has been like to start his own business here in Austin. And as a general rule, you guys, a lot of these restaurants, coffee shops, other locations are not even profitable for 3 years, and they require over $100,000 just to get up and going. So just think about that. And you're there from 6 a.m. till the sun has been down for a long time and the moon is probably out when you're driving home, dreading to go back again the next day. That's reality. That's, for those of you guys who've done this, you get it. So when you switch over and you say, wait a minute, what is Brianna talking about? It's almost so awesome. It's almost unbelievable. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't, there aren't hard times. I'm not saying it doesn't require work. Of course it requires work. But one thing that really gets my interest, Brianna, is you said this so well. You said you design, and then after that, you're hands off. So all you can do now is market.
It's incredible. Absolutely. So, and here's the interesting part. I can't design. I have no graphic design skill whatsoever. And so in that journey, I had to figure out who's making my designs. I have a good eye for fashion. I've always been in clothing and shoes, and I know what I want, but I had to have someone that could make up for my lack of skill in that area. And so now, if you're in that same boat, it is very, very simple to work with companies like the one that I co-own, where we can do the design work for you, or find someone on Fiverr, have a friend, have a family member. Is your son an amazing artist? Guaranteed they're already using Photoshop or some of the even really easy photo manipulation apps that are free. Yeah. It's so if you can find designs, if you can do a little design work yourself, zero investment. If you can't design, very little investment, which I couldn't.
Brianna, if I want to get started, what's the first thing I do? You mentioned the designs. So what do? Do I first go to one of these websites and find out who will fulfill the orders, as in another website who will do the print on demand? Actually, let's go back. First of all, explain print on demand, just in case there's anyone who doesn't understand that concept. What does print on demand mean?
So print on demand is basically an easy way for all of us to create product lines of just about any product by creating a design that's going to get applied to it. So that design could just be your own logo, right? Like a lot of us remember Vistaprint. So you could get, your logo on a coffee mug. Well, now that has absolutely exploded, so that instead of just logos, we have access to websites. Merch by Amazon is the first one I'm going to recommend. It's free. There's a bit of a waiting list to get in, but all you do is apply, you get accepted in, you create designs that follow their terms of service. They're very common sense, and you upload these files, and that's it. You even control the price. And you don't have to do any marketing whatsoever, especially not on Merch by Amazon. And you collect royalties.
Wow. So if I go to Amazon and I'm looking for a certain design, let's say on a t-shirt or maybe a mug or something like that, when I order it, Amazon actually, after I order it, they go and they print the design through heat press, whatever, on the t-shirt, on the coffee mug, and then it's shipped to me. So basically, you don't have to even go to China or call China or WeChat China. You don't have to go to a supplier and go find them and do negotiating and figure out what they want and all that stuff and send them $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You don't have to do that. You just have a design.
Correct.
That's
Now, what you've mentioned, though, is an amazing long-term goal that someone can have with print on demand, because essentially you're using someone else's products and facilities and you're applying your designs. So I always suggest to people, if you have a standout design and you're selling hundreds or thousands of units per month, now it's time to source it. Now it's time to do some private labeling or some importing or some domestic sourcing to see if you could get that cost down and recreate it at $1 per shirt rather than $10 per shirt. But again, some people don't even want to go that route. They don't want to touch anything, and you don't have to.
But if someone wants to, they now have the cash because they did the print demand. So the
Yeah.
cash allows them to say, okay, I'm going to become my own manufacturer of my product.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is, so you have these files. They're PNG files.
Right.
You add them to Merch by Amazon, right? And you wait. You're waiting for those sales. Don't stop there. There are print-on-demand marketplaces all throughout the internet now. Many of them are free. Zazzle, Redbubble. You can go over there right now. You could take that same exact design and you can start adding it to thousands of products in marketplaces that already have organic traffic. You don't have to do much marketing at all, if at all.
Wow. So if someone goes to one of those websites and they buy it, you get a royalty because you uploaded your design as one of the options.
So literally, you are making money while you're sleeping. So our family in the spring and summer, we travel in a travel trailer and we are into snowmobiles and four-wheelers. And this is how we fund that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
What do you do if someone tries to copy your design?
Copying designs. That's not cool. However, as a person that does this full-time and has been like an OG in the game for 20 years, I also know that those are the people that are not going to be around. And so I don't spend that much time, to be honest, policing it. Because you know what? Their karma will come back, and they don't have the hustle to stay in the game. If they're copying designs, that's not a long-term plan. Fine, make your $100 on it while I'm building this empire over here and making thousands of dollars.
I love that because that's an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. You're focusing on what you can build versus worrying about, oh, every person out there who's going to copy me. And the truth is, guys, if someone's copying you, that means you're doing something right.
It's a compliment.
If you don't have that problem, then you're probably not doing something right. You're not making an impact. Of course, you should be shaking it up to a point where there are competitors.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about bootleg merchandise, right? I mean, you're not going to make a knockoff of something that isn't worthy of copying. And so, absolutely, I think you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your business. But also you can become highly non-productive spending your days worrying about little things like that. You have bigger plans, and that's small fries.
Yeah, this is really neat because what you've heard today about this opportunity, you're going to hear more in depth specifically in Los Angeles. So for those of you guys who haven't yet, you need to click the link below, join what's called Ecom 2019. Brianna is going to be there. She will meet you. I've met Brianna in person. She's an incredible woman. The energy you're seeing here does not give justice. You can't get that over video that you actually get in person. She's a dynamic person, and she will help you and show you step by step how to do that. Here's our goal, guys. When you walk out of Ecom 2019, not only are you going to be wishing it was longer, which is exactly what happened last year with the summit, but you're going to know the tips and the tools on how to actually make this work for you. I hope that you guys are so well trained. The only reason you wouldn't take action is there was some bogus excuse, and you need to suck the oxygen out of every single BS excuse and decide, am I ready to do something different? So I have margin to do the things I love with the people that I love. The fact, Brianna, that you can take this cash and go on vacation with your family and devote your life to building a brand, but doing it from home, and then be able to travel when you want to. Like, it's just, there's so many people out there who they want this. But
it's attainable. It's attainable.
Yes, it's sitting there waiting. Like, why wait, you guys? This statistic still blows my mind, Brianna, that 89% of all sales for retail type products, physical products in the US are still in brick and mortar stores. Like just mind-blowing. So we have not even begun to get to the point where everyone's buying online. Most people simply don't buy online. So if Brianna can do this at this level, at this massive level, at this stage in time, can you guys imagine where it's going to be 5 years from now? And guess who's going to be ahead? The people who jump in now. So again, I want to encourage you guys, don't sit on your hands. Don't make excuses. Go for it and start making this happen. This is another way you can build passive income. And truly, Brianna, it is more passive than private label. Private label is awesome. And when we talk about it a lot, but go ahead. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I was going to say, listen, if you're saying to yourself, I don't get this print on demand thing. Like, how is that going to fit into my business model? Right. Think about it this way. So Seth, you mentioned, the coffee shop owner, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to have some novel idea and design experience. Let's say your hustle is business to business. You love face-to-face interaction. You can bring that level in. Go to that coffee shop. Help them get online. Help them with their merch by setting up print on demand for them. Your whole hustle could be business related in your local area or online where you learn print on demand. It's very simple to learn. And then you help other people learn it, or you control it for them. Help that coffee shop sell those awesome t-shirts that have their logo and their coffee mugs and their hoodies.
Yeah.
And you can attain all of that with print on demand.
That's really
build it and make it what you want and not have to touch a thing inventory wise.
Amen. That's so good, because a lot of people who are in retail stores, they don't have time to think about this. In fact, even selling online for a lot of them is like, oh, well, I know that's where the world's going. I don't have time. How do I do it? I don't have the time to. So if you walk up and like, hey, I can help you with this. Let's make a deal. Pay me to help you with this. What a massive opportunity that is.
Let me give you guys a really good example of how powerful this is. So when we travel, we go to ATV parks and we camp there with our travel trailer. I could come upon a new ATV park. I could walk into the front doors to register. I could, take my phone out, design a logo for them, upload it. They didn't pay me anything. They don't even know I'm coming.
Did you buy a campfire?
Boom, live. Look what I did for you guys. You want to split profits?
Right.
That's the power of this.
Yeah.
And where you can go with it. Instantaneously, you can make something for someone. And then they take that link, share it with their thousands of followers that usually have to go to the ATV park to buy their merchandise. I mean, it's a win-win for them and for you.
What's cool about it is now you're integrating your work with your family, with what you love to do.
Yeah.
Traditionally, I remember growing up, I don't know what it was like for you, Brianna, but I remember my dad would go to work and then I couldn't wait for him to come home. But it felt so far out there and foreign to me when I was little because I didn't understand it until I started working with him, because it just felt out there. But now for me and my kids today, they're literally here in the Just When I'm office helping us build something amazing, be able to do it with you. You're at the ATV park on your phone with your family. In other words, they get to see it. And what better training is there on earth than from a parent to a child to show them by example? Because kids, they do pick up on what we do. They watch, they see, and they follow that. Like really, truly, who has a better opportunity to train their kids, even more than a teacher, will be their own parent. And your child is seeing this as he grows, which is so cool.
And it's something that I've always been an advocate for, and I just call it real world learning, right? Like leveraging opportunities in the real world. And that's kind of something that I think gets left out of education is real world application. What really does this look like? What, in the real world in action. And that is what I'm excited about too with the event, because you guys are going to get to see things that we've put into action and we are putting into action. I like to say we've done it successfully, we're doing it successfully, and we're down in the trenches and making it happen still.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people, they're like, well, yeah, you used to do it, but you don't do it anymore. Guys, I want you to know the people at eCom are in the trenches doing it today. Everything you're learning is not from something 5, 10, 6 years ago. Right now, because you guys know e-commerce changes fast, it's right now, real-time knowledge. And you cannot put a price tag on that. I mean, there were people, Brianna, who joined the summit last year. They had made nothing on Amazon. Today, a few of them are millionaires. They had never sold anything on Amazon before. Today, as Just When I'm members, they are millionaires. Now, some of you guys are like, oh, that's too high. I could never do that. You could do $5,000 a month. That's fine. You don't even have to go for being a millionaire.
Who watching this would not be completely cool with a couple extra $1,000 a month?
I know. You can't just go to a job and say, oh, give me a couple extra dollars a month for working.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that.
Good luck getting a quarter raise, right? Or a dollar raise. Like,
you look at your education, like, what is it? Well, I've been learning through life. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. I need to see your diploma. Well, it doesn't work like that.
no.
Yeah. This is awesome. Guys, I cannot wait to see you at Ecom 2019. Brianna's going to be there, especially if you guys are trying to work from home and you're trying to get that freedom and you want to generate cash without touching a single product. Make sure you go to her workshop because it is going to be gold, you guys. And part of it is Q&A, and she'll be at a table where you can go and talk to her, get to know her, ask her questions. Brianna is one of the most just down-to-earth real people. That this is truly, I can say, it's one of my favorite interviews, Brianna, because you're real, and I respect you for it, and thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, have an awesome day, everybody. I hope you crush it out there. Do not stop. Do not give up. Click the link below. I will see you in Los Angeles.